A year after my wife passed away, I hired a company to renovate her old office. The contractor called, "Sir, come see what we found, but don't come alone. Bring everyone." When we arrived, my heart nearly stopped. The contractor's voice cracked over the phone. "Mr. Reynolds, you need to get down here, right now. But sir, bring your kids, and maybe a lawyer." I was standing in my kitchen holding white roses, 12 stems, one for each year Victoria and I had been married. It was March 14th, exactly 1 year since her heart gave out at 43 years old, leaving me with 2 sons and a crater where my life used to be. "What did you find?" I asked. "A safe, hidden behind the drywall in the back storage room. It was already cracked open when we found it. Mr. Reynolds, you need to see what's inside before I call anybody else." My stomach dropped. "What's in it?" "I can't explain over the phone. Just come, please." Victoria had run Sterling and Vance Accounting, a small firm, handling books for local businesses, nonprofits, a few churches, clean reputation, 23 years in business. The office had sat empty since her passing because I couldn't bring myself to clear out her desk, her files, the framed photo of our family at Yellowstone. Until last week, when I'd finally hired Garrison Construction to gut the place for resale. Now they'd found something. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, I said. I went upstairs where my sons were doing homework. Leo, 12, looked up from his math worksheet. Sam, 10, was reading a graphic novel instead of his science assignment. "Boys, we need to go to Mom's old office." Leo's expression sharpened. He'd gotten more perceptive this year, more adult. Grief does that. "Why?" "The construction workers found something. I don't know what yet, but they asked me to bring you." "Is it Mom's stuff?" Sam asked quietly. "Maybe. Come on." The drive across Portland took 18 minutes. Neither boy spoke. We'd all gotten used to silence this year, the spaces where Victoria's voice used to fill the gaps. Garrison Construction's van sat outside the building, along with 2 other vehicles I didn't recognize. The office was in a converted house in the Southeast District, Victorian architecture, creaking floors, the kind of place that felt solid and trustworthy. Thomas Garrison met us at the door, mid-50s, built like he'd spent 40 years swinging hammers. His face was pale. "Mr. Reynolds." He shook my hand firmly. "Boys, I'm sorry to do this today of all days. I know what the date is. Just show me." He led us through the gutted reception area, walls torn down to studs, electrical wiring exposed to the back storage room, normally used for file archives and office supplies. The far wall had been demolished. Behind it, built into the wall studs, sat a steel safe. Old, heavy, commercial grade. The door hung open. "We found it at 10:47 this morning," Thomas said. "It wasn't locked. Someone had already opened it, probably your wife, judging by what's inside." My hands went cold. Thomas gestured to the desk. Victoria's old desk, dusty but intact. Spread across it were ledgers, hard drives, manila folders, and a sealed envelope with my name written in Victoria's handwriting. I recognized that handwriting, saw it on birthday cards and grocery lists and notes in the boys' lunchboxes. "I looked inside the envelope," Thomas admitted. "Not the folders, just the letter. I needed to know if I was destroying evidence. Mr. Reynolds, I'm sorry, this is going to be hard." I picked up the envelope. My hands shook. Leo moved closer. "Dad, stay back," I said, too sharp, softened my voice. "Just give me a second." I opened the envelope, pulled out 2 sheets of paper covered in Victoria's neat cursive. Asterisk, David, asterisk, asterisk. If you're reading this, it means I didn't find another way. I tried to fix it. God knows I tried to pay it back, expose it quietly, make it right. But he won't let me. He has leverage. He threatened to hurt the boys if I went public. These records are insurance. If anything happens to me, give them to the police. All of them. Don't trust Marcus. I know he's your best friend. I know he's Leo and Sam's godfather, but he isn't who we thought he was. Asterisk, asterisk. I'm so sorry I kept this from you. I thought I could handle it alone. I thought I could protect our family. Asterisk, asterisk. Tell the boys I love them. Tell them their mother tried. Asterisk, asterisk v, asterisk. The words blurred. I read it twice, 3 times. Marcus Vance. My best friend since sophomore year at Portland State. My business partner in Victoria's firm. The man who'd held me together after Victoria passed. Who'd organized the funeral. Who'd helped me navigate insurance claims and legal paperwork and single fatherhood. The man wearing Victoria's vintage Rolex right now, the watch she'd supposedly wanted him to have. According to the verbal will he'd claimed she'd shared with him days before she passed. I set down the letter, opened the first ledger, transaction records, dates, account numbers, dollar amounts that made my vision swim. $847,000 from Riverside Community Church Building Fund, transferred to offshore account CY4471893. $1.2 million from the Homeless Youth Coalition, same account. $340,000 from the Morrison Trust money, meant for scholarships for low-income students. Page after page after page. Every transaction authorized by Marcus Vance. Digital signatures, account access codes, routing numbers. My wife's business partner had been systematically embezzling from their clients for at least 3 years. "Dad," Leo's voice was small, scared. What is that? I couldn't answer. My throat had closed. Sam moved to the desk, read over my shoulder. These are big numbers. They're stolen numbers, I said quietly. From the church, from charities, from people who trusted us. Us? Leo asked. Did Mom? No. I picked up Victoria's letter, showed him the words. She found out. She tried to stop him, and he threatened you. Both of you. Thomas cleared his throat. Mr. Reynolds, I need to know what you want to do. This is evidence of serious crimes. I have an obligation. I know, I said, but not yet. Sir, give me 24 hours. Please, I need to do this right. Thomas looked at the evidence. At my sons. At me. 24 hours. Then I'm calling the police whether you do or not. I'd met Victoria Chen at a coffee shop in 2008. She'd been working on her CPA certification, buried in tax code textbooks. I'd asked if the seat next to her was taken. She'd said, yes, she was saving it for her future husband, but I could sit there until he showed up. We'd been married 6 months later. She'd started Sterling and Vance Accounting in 2011 with Marcus, who she'd known from her master's program. They'd built it together, Victoria handling client relationships and financial planning, Marcus managing operations and compliance. They'd specialized in non-profit accounting, churches, youth organizations, community foundations, organizations that needed expertise but couldn't afford Big Four firm prices. Victoria had loved it, said she felt like she was doing God's work, helping good people do good things with their money. The firm had grown steadily. By 2023, they had 47 clients, 3 employees, and annual revenue around $850,000. Marcus had been at our house every Sunday for dinner. He'd taught Leo to throw a curveball. He'd given Sam his first telescope. When Victoria passed sudden cardiac arrest in her office at 3:17 p.m. on March 14, 2024, Marcus had been the one to call 911, perform CPR, ride in the ambulance. He'd held my hand at the funeral and told me Victoria was the best person he'd ever known. Now I knew why he'd cried so hard that day. Guilt. I drove the boys home and made them grilled cheese sandwiches they didn't eat, put on a movie they didn't watch. Then, I went into my office and called the one person I trusted, Patricia Mendoza, Victoria's college roommate, attorney specializing in white-collar crime at Morrison & Reed, 38 years old, 15 years practicing criminal law in Oregon. David, she answered, how are you holding up today? I need you to come over. Now, don't tell anyone, especially not Marcus. Pause. What happened? Victoria left evidence that Marcus has been embezzling from the firm's clients. Millions of dollars. She knew. She was trying to stop him. I think the stress contributed to her heart condition. Jesus. Where's the evidence? At her old office. I need you to help me document everything properly before we go to the police. I'll be there in 30 minutes. She arrived in 27 minutes, briefcase in hand, all business. I showed her Victoria's letter first, then the ledgers, then the hard drives. Patricia read everything methodically, taking photos with her phone, making notes. This is prosecutable, she said. Multiple counts of embezzlement, wire fraud, money laundering. If the amounts are accurate, Marcus is looking at 20 years minimum. Can we prove Victoria wasn't involved? Her letter helps, but we'll need more. Did she keep separate records, personal notes, anything showing she discovered this and tried to stop it? I opened one of the hard drives on my laptop. It took 20 minutes to crack the password Victoria's birthday plus our anniversary. Inside were folders, hundreds of files, email chains between Victoria and Marcus, her questioning transfers, him explaining them away, her pushing harder, him getting defensive. One email from 6 months before she passed. Asterisk Marcus, I've reviewed the Riverside account again. The building fund is short $847,000. I need documentation of where that money went, or I'm calling the board. Asterisk. His response. Asterisk Victoria, you're overreacting. Those funds were reallocated per the verbal agreement with Pastor Mike. I'll get you the documentation next week. Asterisk. The documentation never came. The next email was from Victoria to her personal account. Asterisk. He's lying. Pastor Mike never approved any reallocation. I'm going to the police on Monday. Asterisk. 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 Daring. That email was dated March 10th, 2024. Victoria passed away March 14th. 4 days later. David, Patricia said carefully. Did Victoria have any heart problems before? Mild arrhythmia. She took medication for it. Nothing serious. Had she been under unusual stress? The firm was busy. She'd mentioned Marcus wasn't pulling his weight, but nothing she seemed worried about. Patricia looked at the timeline. I'm not saying anything definitive, but sudden cardiac arrest at 43 in someone with only mild heart issues, right after threatening to expose major fraud. My blood went cold. You think, Marcus? I think we need to be very careful, and we need to involve law enforcement immediately. Not yet. David, I need to talk to him first. That's a terrible idea. I need him to admit it. On record, with witnesses. Patricia set down her phone. Why? Because Victoria tried to do this the right way, quietly, professionally, and look what happened. He threatened our children. He may have contributed to her passing. I want him to confess everything before the police get involved. That's dangerous. I don't care. Where? She studied my face. You want revenge. I want justice. For Victoria. For the organizations he stole from. For everyone he manipulated while pretending to be a good man. Patricia was quiet for a long time. Then, okay, but we do this smart. I'll contact Detective Raymond Walsh. He's with the Financial Crimes Unit, 22 years on the Portland PD. We'll brief him, get recording equipment, and set up a controlled confrontation. How long will that take? If I call in favors, 48 hours. I have 24. Thomas Garrison is reporting this tomorrow night, whether we're ready or not. Then, we'd better move fast. Detective Raymond Walsh arrived at my house at 7:43 a.m. the next morning, late 50s, gray hair, the kind of face that had seen everything twice. Mr. Reynolds, he said, shaking my hand. Patricia briefed me. I reviewed the documentation she sent. This is one of the most clear-cut embezzlement cases I've seen in 20 years. Can you prove Marcus did it? His digital signatures are all over the transactions. His access codes were used, and your wife's personal records show she confronted him multiple times. He paused. I'm sorry for your loss. Victoria sounds like she was trying to do the right thing. She was. Patricia says you want to confront Marcus directly. Record a confession. Yes, that's risky. If he realizes what you're doing, he could destroy evidence. Flee. We might lose our chance to prosecute. Or he might confess. He's arrogant. He thinks I'm weak. He's been playing the supportive best friend for a year, watching me grieve while he wore my wife's watch and spent stolen money. Detective Walsh looked at Patricia. She nodded. All right, Walsh said. Here's how we do this. You call Marcus. Tell him the renovation team found structural issues at Victoria's office. Say you need his help assessing whether any client files are at risk. Get him to come to the office. What about recording? We'll wire the space, audio and video. Patricia will be there as a witness, hidden but present. I'll be parked outside with backup. You get him talking. Let him try to explain. When he realizes you know, he'll either run or try to bargain. Either way, we'll have him. What if he gets aggressive? You'll be wired. Any sign of threat, we move in immediately. I looked at Leo and Sam, who'd been listening from the stairs. Dad, Leo said. Uncle Marcus did this? Uncle Marcus, the godfather who'd given them birthday presents and taught them card tricks and promised to take care of them if anything happened to me. Yes, I said. He stole from people who trusted him, and he threatened you to keep Mom quiet. Sam's face crumpled. Why? Because money became more important to him than people. The setup took 6 hours. Thomas Garrison's crew installed surveillance cameras in Victoria's office, hidden in electrical boxes and ceiling fixtures. Detective Walsh's team placed wireless microphones in the wall studs, voice-activated recording equipment in the back room. Patricia positioned herself in the adjacent storage space with a laptop showing live feeds. At 3:47 p.m., I called Marcus. David, his voice was warm, concerned, the way it had been for a year. How are you doing today? I was thinking about you. About Victoria. I'm at the office, I said. Garrison's crew found some problems. Structural damage behind the walls. I'm worried about the client files if there's water damage or mold. We might have liability issues. Silence. Just a beat too long. What kind of problems? He asked carefully. I don't know. I'm not a contractor, but they seemed concerned. Can you come look? You know the filing system better than I do. Another pause. I'm in a meeting. Can it wait? Garrison says they need to finish demolition today. If we're going to save anything important, it needs to be now. I could almost hear him calculating. If there was evidence in those files, evidence he thought was safely hidden, he needed to see what had been found. I'll be there in 20 minutes, he said. I hung up, looked at Patricia through the doorway. She gave me a thumbs up. Detective Walsh's voice came through my hidden earpiece. Good work. Remember, stay calm. Let him talk. Don't accuse directly. Just show him the evidence and watch his reaction. My hands were shaking. I sat at Victoria's old desk and tried to steady my breathing. 19 minutes later, Marcus's BMW pulled up outside. He walked in wearing a charcoal suit and Victoria's Rolex. His hair was perfectly styled. His shoes were Italian leather. He looked like success, built on stolen money. David, he pulled me into a hug. I'm sorry you're dealing with this today. Must be hard being back in this space. It's been a year, I said. Had to happen eventually. He looked around the gutted office. Wow, they really tore into this place. Thomas said the previous owner did some questionable remodeling, built additions without permits, hid some structural problems behind drywall. That's unfortunate. He walked toward the back room. Where's the damage? Storage room. Behind the file cabinets. I followed him. He stepped through the doorway and froze. The demolished wall, the exposed safe, the open door, Victoria's letter sitting on the desk, my name visible. Marcus's face went white. David, he said slowly. What is this? I didn't answer, just stood there, watching him. He moved closer to the desk, saw the ledgers, the hard drives, the folders. Recognition flooded his expression, then panic, then desperate calculation. Those are old files, he said quickly. Victoria was confused toward the end, mixing up accounts. The medication she was taking for her heart, it can cause cognitive issues. Was she confused when you threatened my sons? I asked quietly. He froze. What? I picked up Victoria's letter. Read aloud. He has leverage. He threatened to hurt the boys if I went public. She was paranoid. Was she paranoid when she emailed herself documentation, when she confronted confronted you about the Riverside Church Building Fund, when she told you she was going to the police on Monday, March 11th. Marcus's mouth opened. Nothing came out. 3 days later, she passed away, I continued. Sudden cardiac arrest, stress-induced, in someone with only mild heart problems. You think His face went red. David, I loved Victoria. I would never. You stole $847,000 from a church, Marcus. You took $1.2 million from organizations helping homeless teenagers. You threatened my children to keep my wife silent. I stepped closer. Don't tell me what you would never do. He looked at the evidence spread across the desk, at the safe, at me. His expression shifted. The mask cracked. You don't understand the pressure, he hissed. The firm was drowning. We had debts, overhead, staff salaries. Victoria wanted to stay small, stay ethical, stay poor, but I saw opportunities, ways to grow, to succeed, by stealing from charities, by reallocating resources. Those organizations had excess funds sitting idle while we struggled to make payroll. So, you just took it. I borrowed it. I was going to pay it back. Over 3 years, Marcus? Multiple accounts? Offshore transfers? He grabbed the edge of the desk. David, listen to me. We can fix this. Split what's left. There's still $400,000 in accessible accounts. We take it, disappear, start over. Start over where? On money stolen from churches and youth organizations? It's better than prison, is it? Sam's voice came from the doorway. You said you'd take care of us if something happened to Dad. Marcus spun around. My son stood there, Leo holding his phone, recording, Sam with tears streaming down his face. Boys, Marcus said, switching back to his warm uncle voice. This is complicated. Adult business. You don't understand. I understand you stole from God, Sam said. His voice shook. Mom's letter says so. You stole from churches and you threatened us, and you made Mom so scared her heart stopped. That's not. Leo held up his phone. Say that again. About reallocating resources. About the $400,000 you want to split. Marcus's face crumbled. Leo, please. I'm your godfather. I love you. Both of you. We can work this out as a family. You're not family, Leo said coldly. You just pretended to be. The front door opened. Detective Walsh walked in, badge visible. Behind him, 2 uniformed officers. Marcus Vance, Walsh said. I'm Detective Raymond Walsh, Portland Financial Crimes Unit. I need you to come with us for questioning regarding multiple counts of embezzlement and wire fraud. Marcus looked at me, at the detective, at my son still recording him. Then he ran, straight toward the back exit. Detective Walsh had anticipated that 2 more officers stood blocking the door. Marcus crashed into them, stumbling. They grabbed his arms. He struggled. You can't do this. I have rights. I want a lawyer. You'll get one, Walsh said calmly. At the station, they cuffed him, read him his Miranda rights, while he shouted about entrapment, about illegal searches, about conspiracy. I watched it happen from Victoria's desk, my hands finally steady. Patricia emerged from the storage room. We got everything on recording. His confession, his admission about the offshore accounts, his offer to split the remaining stolen money. It's all admissible. Marcus saw her. You set me up. David, you bastard. You set me up. I walked over to him, looked him in the eyes. No, I said quietly. Victoria did. She left evidence. She documented everything. I just finished her work. His face went from rage to something else. Shame, defeat, recognition that he'd destroyed himself. She was going to ruin everything, he whispered. The firm, my reputation, my future. I just wanted her to wait. Give me time to fix it. So you threatened her children. I would never actually hurt them, but you let her believe you would. You stressed her into the ground, and when her heart gave out, you stood at her funeral and called her an angel. He had no response to that. Detective Walsh pulled him toward the door. Mr. Vance is going to be charged with multiple felonies, embezzlement, wire fraud, money laundering, and we're opening an investigation into Mrs. Reynolds' passing. If evidence suggests foul play. There was no foul play, Marcus shouted. She had a heart condition. It was natural causes. Then you have nothing to worry about, Walsh said. They let him out. The BMW sat in the parking lot would be impounded within the hour, along with his house, his bank accounts, everything purchased with stolen money. Patricia put her hand on my shoulder. You did good. Victoria would be proud. Did I? I trapped him, recorded him without clear consent. Some people would call that dirty. Some people would say he deserved exactly what he got. I looked at my sons. Leo was still holding his phone, recording turned off now. Sam was crying quietly. Come here, I said. They came. I held them both. Uncle Marcus is gone, Sam said. Yes, forever? For a very long time. Good, Leo said. Then softer. Did he really make Mom sick? I don't know. Maybe the stress contributed. Maybe it was just her heart. We'll never know for sure. But he hurt her. Yes, he hurt her a lot. We stood there in Victoria's office, surrounded by evidence of betrayal and theft and lies, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a year. Purpose. Victoria had tried to stop Marcus quietly, professionally, the right way, and it had contributed to her passing. But she'd left the tools, the evidence, the insurance policy. All I'd done was use them. The investigation took 4 months. Marcus was formally charged with 17 counts of embezzlement, 9 counts of wire fraud, 6 counts of money laundering, and conspiracy conspiracy to commit theft. The DA's office, led by Assistant District Attorney Carla Morrison, 12 years prosecuting financial crimes, built an airtight case using Victoria's documentation. The offshore accounts were seized, $2.3 million recovered. Riverside Community Church got their building fund back. The Homeless Youth Coalition got their money. The Morrison Trust got their scholarship funds. Victoria's name was cleared completely. The media ran stories about the brave accountant who discovered massive fraud and documented it before her untimely passing. Her reputation transformed from tragic early passing to heroic whistleblower. Marcus's trial lasted 3 weeks. His attorney, expensive defense lawyer from Seattle, named Gregory Hutchins, tried to claim Victoria had been complicit, that the evidence was fabricated, that I had manipulated the entire confrontation. Patricia testified. Detective Walsh testified. Thomas Garrison testified about finding the safe. And the recording played. Every word Marcus had said, every admission, every desperate justification. The jury deliberated for 7 hours. Guilty on all counts. Marcus Vance was sentenced to 23 years in federal prison, minimum security due to his age and lack of violence, but 23 years nonetheless. He'd be 72 when he got out. Victoria's watch, the Rolex he'd claimed was a gift, was returned to me. I gave it to Leo. Your mother wanted you to have this, I said. Not him. A year after the trial, I visited Victoria's grave with the boys. Spring flowers blooming, sun warm on the headstone. Hi, Mom, Sam said quietly. Uncle Marcus is in prison. Well, not Uncle Marcus anymore, just Marcus. We helped catch him, Leo added. Dad set a trap and we recorded everything. It was kind of cool, kind of scary, but mostly cool. I knelt at the grave, touched the engraved letters of her name. I finished it, I said. What you started. The evidence you left, it worked. Everyone knows the truth now. The organizations got their money back. Your name is clear. The wind moved through the trees. Birds sang somewhere nearby. I wish you'd told me, I said. When you first found out, we could have handled it together. Maybe the stress wouldn't have been so bad. Maybe I stopped because maybe was poison. Maybe changed nothing. The boys are doing okay, I continued. Leo's playing baseball. Sam joined the astronomy club. They miss you. I miss you. But we're moving forward. I stood, looked at my sons, older now, harder in some ways, but still whole. We should go, I said. School tomorrow. As we walked back to the car, Leo said, Dad, do you think Mom knew that we'd find the evidence? That we'd catch him? I think she hoped. Left us everything we needed just in case. That's smart. That's your mother. We drove home through Portland traffic, past the building where Victoria's firm used to operate. Someone else owned it now, a therapy practice specializing in grief counseling. Appropriate, somehow. The house felt different than it had 2 years ago. Less empty, more alive. We'd learned to cook together, to clean together, to exist in the spaces Victoria used to fill. And we'd learned something else, that justice doesn't always come wrapped in courtrooms and sentencing hearings. Sometimes it comes in the form of evidence hidden behind walls, in letters written with shaking hands, in the courage to finish what someone else started. Marcus had thought Victoria was weak, thought he could threaten her into silence, thought her passing meant his secrets were safe. He'd been wrong about all of it. Victoria Chen had been strong enough to document everything, smart enough to hide it perfectly, brave enough to leave her family the tools to finish what she'd started. And I'd been angry enough, heartbroken enough, determined enough to use those tools exactly as she'd intended. Dad? Sam asked from the back seat. Are you glad we caught him? I thought about it. About the recordings. About Marcus's face when he realized he'd confessed everything. About the jury's verdict. Yes, I said. I'm glad. Your mother deserves to rest knowing the truth came out. Even though it was hard, especially because it was hard, we pulled into our driveway, our home. The place Victoria had filled with love and laughter and Sunday dinners with people we'd thought we could trust. Now it was just us. Smaller, scarred, but honest. I could live with that. Asterisk, asterisk. Because sometimes the people we trust most are hiding the darkest secrets. And sometimes the person who's gone leaves behind exactly what we need to expose them if we're brave enough to finish what they started. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Victoria tried to stop Marcus quietly. I made sure the whole world heard him confess. Asterisk, asterisk.